Hey everyone, how's it going? Aaron, No Sleep Till Brooklyn Rift here, along with Jeff, No Sleep Period.
No
Meet
sleep. I never sleep, it's true.
We are here to discuss WWE Summerslam 2015, the extravaganza from Brooklyn, New York. 4-hour show.
It's going to be tremendous.
We have 10 matches announced for this card. And we also have the NXT Takeover Brooklyn show on Saturday night, which will be 2 hours, not quite as epic as SummerSlam, although some fans feel that it is more epic.
Oh, I think it's going to be a tremendous show, as I always say. It's going to be a great show on Saturday. Sunday is very much a packed show, but it should still be pretty good, I think.
You can tell by the t-shirt which show Jeff is really looking forward to.
Absolutely, definitely.
So we have NXT Takeover Brooklyn. We have the debut of Apollo Crews.
Yeah, the fact that they're only advertising Apollo for that match is very obvious who's going to win that match. They're not going to tout this guy as the future of NXT, as the next big thing, if you will, without him winning his first match. He's going to win. No question about that. Both Bazinga270 and Always Joshing You on Instagram say that Crews is going to win. So there's their predictions. My prediction, of course, is Apollo Crews. Do you watch a lot of NXT? Do you get to watch?
I've been watching some of the shows.
Okay.
I haven't been watching many of them, but I try to watch them occasionally.
Okay. Well, in addition to Apollo Crews making his big debut, he was one of the big indie guys they signed. I think it's Uhaa Nation. Uhaa Nation is how you say it. He's been very, very highly regarded as one of the premier independent talents in the country, if not the world, and now he's part of NXT, so he'll be having his debut. You also have two guys who are both undefeated. You have two guys who are both very intense and very, very determined to show that they are the baddest of the badasses in NXT, in Baron Corbin and Samoa Joe. Let's see. Bazinga says Joe. And Always Joshua says no contest. You know, I tend to believe with Joshua. These guys have been going so tooth and nail back and forth, and had a big brawl the other night in NXT. I believe it's going to go to no contest to start with. I do.
You think on a pay-per-view they're going to do a no contest?
I do, and I think the reason for that is that they don't necessarily want to have Baron Corbin have his first loss. But they don't want Joe to lose, obviously, either.
Right. So
I think you're going to have it be some sort of ridiculous schmoz where it's going to be a big old pull-apart at the end.
Well, that's interesting. I think I'm going to go with Joe because I think in the long run, Joe is going to be pushed in WWE. I think he will eventually be on the main roster sooner than later. And I think he's the guy that should get the win at this point. Just my opinion on that.
Well, it is your show, so it's your opinion.
Yeah. And we have Tyler Breeze versus the WWE debut of Jushin Thunder Liger. Finally, after all these years, he's one of the few guys besides Sting, American wrestlers who have wrestled in America. Obviously, he's from Japan, but guys that have competed in the United States.
Yeah, he's been big for well over 25 years now. Jushin Liger has. He's competed in WCW. He competed in New Japan, obviously, but Jushin Liger is, despite what that one post on the NoDQ forums tried to tell me, this guy's a legend. I had a guy in your group, he posted the video, Triple H posted Liger talking to the public the first time, and said, "Who the fuck is this?" I look at this, I went, okay, so we went for about 2 hours on the forums, back and forth between me and this guy, and I just sounded it, it was fun. But I can't honestly believe that Jushin Liger's going to be brought in for one match and one match only, and not win.
Exactly.
You know, you've got Bazinga saying, no prediction on Liger match. Okay, fair enough. And Liger from Always Joshing You. Yeah, Liger has to win this match. He can't not win his, in theory, only WWE match. You know, Sting didn't, but Sting might get another chance.
Yeah, I think Liger will win this one.
Liger should win this one.
And yeah, it should be interesting because, like I said, besides Sting, he was the next biggest star who competed in the United States that hasn't wrestled for WWE.
As far as WCW guys, yeah.
This is pretty significant for us longtime fans.
Exactly.
So looking forward to that one. That should be
I am too. That might be the match of the night.
Yeah. And then we have the Women's Championship. Sasha Banks defending against Bayley.
Bayley, yes. Bayley earned her spot by defeating Another recent call-up, Becky Lynch to the main roster at NXT last week. Again, Sasha's on the main roster now. There's no reason for her to be an NXT champion anymore.
Right.
Bayley probably would have been called up had she not had the broken hand at the time. But what's done is done. She's not on the main roster yet. She probably won't be for a while. So I got to go with her winning the championship on Saturday.
I totally agree. I think that we will have a new women's champion. Should be a very good match.
Yep, let's see. Bazinga says Bayley. Always Joshinia says Bayley to win clean. So, yeah, there was talk that there might be a Bayley heel turn because she's been so clean for so long and they need a strong heel diva in NXT. They've got Dana Brooke. They've got Emma. So they'll be okay. Bayley can be a good, strong babyface champion for a while.
Right. All right, and moving on here, we have the Tag Team Championship match. Yes. Blake and Murphy versus the Vaudevillains. Well,
from what the Vaudevillains said last week before NXT, they have a plan to counteract the interference of Alexa Bliss, which has me leading to believe they're going to have one of the NXT divas side with the Vaudevillains to help him capture the Tag Team Championship. And with that being said, it's going to be a great tag team contest. These are arguably the two best tag teams left in NXT after the call-ups. And I believe the Vaudevillains are going to figure it out. They're going to win the championships on Saturday.
How long have Blake and Murphy been the tag team champions?
A long time. They've been champions since not even late last year, like the middle part of last year, I believe. They won it from Lucha Dragons in an upset. And it was like, whoa, these guys are like just now really... And then they've slowly... really built them into a solid bad guy tag team and had Alexa turn heel and go with them, and it's been a great series of matches and series of programs between them and Enzo and Cass, which surprised me that Enzo and Cass are not the #1 contenders, but with the Vaudevillains winning the #1 contender spot, I believe they're going to be the new champions.
Well, there you have it. I agree with you on that. I think we'll have new tag team champions.
Okay.
All right, and then we have the main event for the NXT Championship. Champion Finn Balor defends against former champion Kevin Owens in a ladder match.
Now see, this is one of the only two matches on the card we actually saw somebody live in person.
Yeah.
Usually in NXT we see a few people. But we saw Kevin Owens many times. We've talked about Kevin before. According to ODQ spoilers, Kevin's walked out the NXT Championship recently. On either the last August show or the first September show with the belt in tow.
Yeah, but there's conflicting reports about that. Some people think that was not going to be airing on television, and other people think that maybe it was a swerve by WWE to throw off people. Maybe he's going to steal the belt. They're going to do some angle like that.
Maybe. If he is going to be champion, then it makes it obvious. But I think you're right. I don't think they're going to actually have him be champion. Finn Balor, they've invested too much time and effort in him to have him drop the championship. He only won it back on July 4th. And it would be definitely the shortest NXT Championship reign in history if he were to lose on August 22nd. So I don't think that they're going to have him lose. I think maybe Balor's going to retain. It's going to be a great match. You wouldn't think Kevin Owens' ladder match would go well together, but he's very, very good. You know, the whole knock on him the last couple weeks has been very unjustified. He's a great athlete for as big as he is. And he's going to do some amazing things in Brooklyn. I guarantee it.
Well, as JBL put it, he's a flying bus.
He's a flying bus. Well, but you know what? That flying bus may do a swanton or a kenton bomb off the top of the ladder and surprise everybody.
And a flying bus is going to hurt a lot more than a flying compact car.
Very true.
So the size will make a difference, and I'm sure he's going to do some spectacular stuff for a guy his size. It will be very impressive.
Exactly.
This should be an awesome match, and yeah, I think the whole purpose of the ladder match was so Kevin Owens can lose without actually having to be pinned or made to submit.
Right.
He can lose the match without having to lose in a very decisive manner like that.
Exactly.
So the only thing that makes sense to me is Finn Balor retaining the title. I'm going to go with Finn.
I agree.
All right, so that is our predictions
for NXT.
Now we have WWE Summerslam 10 matches to talk about.
You know, I was wondering because within the last whatever it's been 10 to 14 days, they've added 3 more matches to pad this card because for a while we only had 7 matches. Like, hey, you know, 4-hour show here, guys. What's the deal? But they've added 3 other matches.
So and I'm assuming one of the matches will be the pre-show. At this point, they haven't announced which one's going to be the pre-show.
Well, maybe they'll have El Torito versus Xavier Woods in the pre-show.
So we have 11 matches.
There you go.
Oh, no.
There you go. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon out here in California, we'll have a pre-show between a bull and a motor mouth.
If I had to make a prediction, I would say they'll have the tag team title match be the pre-show match, which is sad, but it's basically a match
seems to be the theme
together.
they do usually, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really not happy about this 4-way match. I mean, it should be very exciting and fast-paced and fun to watch, but it just doesn't make sense to me. The Matadors lost to New Day. Why are they in the tag team title match? It doesn't make any sense. It's just thrown together.
Yep.
But it should be a really good, fun, action-packed match. As far as who wins, I think New Day gets the titles back here. I think New Day is easily, despite what you think, the hottest act in the tag team division.
I never said they weren't a hot act. I just don't like them.
And it seems like the fans are cheering more and more for them with every passing.
I heard a lot of New Day rocks on Monday. It surprised me.
Well, people love the New Day. They think the New Day rocks. They love New Day socks.
That's right.
And I can go on and on with that. But
we did that during Battleground.
I can go on and on and on.
And on and on.
Stop it. Okay. Stop it. Anyways, before we get too off track here,
yes.
I'm going with New Day to win the tag team titles.
I'm going with Primetime Players to retain.
All right.
Again, it's one of those things where it's going to be such a crazy train wreck that the strongest will survive, and that'll be Darren and Titus.
Right. And we have the match that was just added on Raw this week, the return of Dolph Ziggler. He will be facing Rusev, and you'll have Lana in the corner of Ziggler and Summer Rae in the corner of Rusev.
Yeah.
What's your prediction for this
My prediction for that is Rusev's going to suffer his first loss in a while. We had him lose to Cena. Had him lose, I believe, to Roman Reigns on SmackDown, or whatever it was. This will be his first major profile loss since WrestleMania. Or since the series with Cena, whatever you want to call it. And I think that Dolph Ziggler is going to find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, I think Ziggler is going to win this one as well, unless there's a swerve and Lana turns on Dolph Ziggler, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I think the safe bet is Ziggler. I suppose Rusev could win and then they drag the feud out, but I don't know. I just think that Ziggler would benefit from the win more than Rusev winning at this point.
He would. He definitely would.
Alright, so next up we have a singles match. One of the few singles matches on this card, actually.
Yeah.
Randy Orton versus Sheamus.
Did we just go back in time 5 years? Should I change shirts?
Yeah, this is the epic rematch of SummerSlam 2010, or the rematch from 100 different episodes of Raw over the past 5 years.
Yeah, seriously. This one may surprise everybody, but I think I'm going to go with... Who won at Battleground? Was it a no contest?
Orton won.
Orton won. So I'll say Sheamus will win this month.
Yeah, I think
They must do something right with this Money in the Bank winner for once and have him win a match.
Yeah, I think Sheamus should win, but I'm not really sure because I think that Sheamus, and we'll get to this more later, I think Sheamus will have a role in
involvement
the main
later
in the WWE title match, or one of the main events, the WWE title match.
Okay.
And usually when somebody's about to cash in Money in the Bank, they lose before they cash it in.
Look at happened at WrestleMania.
Yeah, with Seth Rollins losing to Orton and then cashing in. And I see a similar scenario here. We'll just go ahead and talk about the main event too, but I think it's a really close one for me. I think Orton's going to win again because I think what's going to happen is we're going to have Sheamus get involved in the WWE/US title match, the title for title match, and let's talk about that.
Well, maybe Orton. What happened to Orton will happen with Flair and Edge back in 2006, where Edge lost that match by DQ on purpose in order to keep himself fresh and ready to cash in.
That's a good point.
So maybe Orton wins by DQ and Sheamus gets himself disqualified.
I like that. I like that.
Let's go with that. I'll go with that.
All right, let's talk about the title for title match.
Yes.
John Cena versus Seth Rollins for the WWE and US titles. This one is really hard to call because normally I would say it's hard to bet against John Cena. I say that month after month.
It always is.
But the thing is, now see, here's the thing, to
okay.
use a line from you.
Yes, sir.
They just put out a John Cena 15 times t-shirt.
Right.
Now, would it make sense for Cena to win the title and that shirt immediately become dated?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
So, what I think is going to happen is I don't see Rollins beating Cena in the match, pinning Cena. I don't see that happening because John Cena is John Cena.
Right.
What I think is going to happen is Sheamus is going to come out, and one of two things will happen. Either Sheamus successfully cashes it in by pinning Rollins, that way Cena doesn't lose, and Cena can get his rematch at Night of Champions or Hell in a Cell or whatever, probably both pay-per-views.
Probably both, yeah.
Cena will get his rematch then. So Sheamus will cash it in, or Sheamus will cash it in and lose. What will happen is Sheamus will hit Cena with a big move, and then Rollins will knock Sheamus out of the ring and pin John Cena to retain the title. And that way Sheamus doesn't look bad in not successfully cashing in Money in the Bank. So I think one of those two things will happen, but I'm going to lean towards Sheamus cashing it in and winning the title.
Okay. All right, well then just to be a counterpoint, I'll go ahead and go the other way you said, where Sheamus cashes in, but then he loses because he hits Cena with the big move, and then Rollins knocks Sheamus out of the ring and pins Cena. That way Rollins gets the victory over Cena, but there's still a seed of a thread there of a feud between Sheamus and Rollins on the line too.
Right, because I mean, to be honest, Sheamus isn't exactly, in my opinion, lighting the world on fire, and I don't know about the idea of him being the world champion, but WWE's very high on him, so I can see.
He always had.
I could see that playing out where he wins the title, or he could cash in and not win the title, but that way he doesn't actually take a fall, and Cena can say he got screwed and get his rematch for the title.
Right.
So, one way or another, I'm expecting Sheamus to get involved, and that's why I think Orton's going to win the match earlier on the show, unless of course Sheamus doesn't cash it in successfully. Sheamus beats Orton and then fails to cash in Money in the Bank. So I think if Sheamus beats Orton, that could be an indication of he comes out later and doesn't successfully cash in Money in the Bank.
What we'll do is we'll set up the live Twitter feed.
Yeah.
There to Casa Micha and be like, okay, here's how it's gonna go.
Yeah. The whole thing. I think the outcome of Orton and Sheamus will possibly play a role in what happens with Cena and Rollins later in the show.
Agreed.
All right, so moving on here, we have Kevin Owens. Oh, and I should mention real quick, also, if Sheamus got involved, technically the U.S. title would not change hands. Because Sheamus is only going for the WWE title.
That's true.
So that's WWE's out also with that.
And to get the belt off Rollins, not the belt off Cena.
And Cena would remain U.S. champion.
Right, exactly.
So that's all the more reason why I think one way or another Sheamus will get involved.
Agreed.
Anyways, let's move on here to Kevin Owens versus Cesaro, which has the potential to be the show stealer, in my opinion.
Well, both these guys were really hot hands here in California toward the end of their indie runs with Gorilla, PWG. Kevin Owens was a two-time PWG, two or three-time PWG champion. Claudio, of course, Antonio Cesaro winning the championship there. We saw both these guys live. They're both awesome. They've both been awesome for a long time, despite what people say about Kevin Owens now, including me. Since I think Owens is going to lose on Saturday, I have a feeling they're going to have him win Sunday.
I totally agree with that.
Okay.
I think that's what makes sense. It should be, I mean, regardless of who wins, they're going to have an awesome match, and I think the match will elevate both guys. It's in Brooklyn. I think the crowd heat's going to be amazing for this match. This should elevate both guys, and it doesn't really matter who loses. They're just going to have an awesome match, and they steal the show. That's really what's
well, that's not
most
some
important.
stupid schmozzy finish, like some horrible finish or something.
No, it needs to be
it needs to be a strong,
finish.
decisive finish, right?
Especially when the WWE title and possibly Undertaker and Lesnar are going to have screwy finishes.
Right.
We have the triple threat match. Actually, this should really be the pre-show match, to be honest.
It should.
We have Ryback defending against The Miz, Miz Holio, and The Big Show. And once again, I don't understand WWE's booking. On Raw, Ryback beat The Miz, but Miz is still a contender for the title.
Yeah, makes no sense.
What's the point? What's the point of Miz even being in this match? It's all about Big Show and Ryback,
Which is why I think Miz is going to slip one in and win the title.
Which, in my opinion, is stupid.
It is stupid, but
Ryback
that's
going to
beat
him. I'm going with Ryback to retain.
Okay.
I don't see a point in there being a title change right now.
I don't either, but that's WWE's prerogative to screw with us. So I say Miz somehow slips one in there and makes that happen.
All right. Next up, we have a tag team match, a Teddy Long special.
That's right.
We have Neville and the Arrow versus
Stephen Amell, right? Yep.
Stardust and King Barrett or the Cosmic King, whatever the hell he's calling himself now.
Yeah, what was that about? That was weird Monday.
Yeah. That was straight out of the 80s.
That was. It was a very bizarre promo, but you know what? If it gets people over and makes them want to watch the match, which it won't, but you know. They're not going to bring in a celebrity without him winning.
Exactly.
They almost never have celebrities lose their matches. So, will he come out as the Arrow is the question. Is the main question, I think. And I think that he will. And we'll see the Arrow and the Red Arrow prevail.
I totally agree.
Okay.
I think that this one's an easy call.
Yeah.
We have another tag team match.
Another one.
Teddy Long just loves this card.
He does. I saw his multiple memes on the forums.
Yeah. All right. We have the Wyatt family, or 2 out of the 3 members, versus 2 out of the 3 members of the Shield, the besties, the best friends forever, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. Now, since the Wyatts didn't look so good on Raw, we had Luke Harper losing to Roman Reigns. I think the Wyatts are going to win. I think they need to win more, and especially if they're going to do another match, perhaps with Rowan as the 3rd guy and Sting as the 3rd guy, possibly doing a 6-man next month or at Hell in a Cell. I think it makes sense here for the Wyatts to win. Maybe they'll do some kind of beatdown after the match, and you'll have The Rock appear, because there's been a lot of speculation about The Rock being at SummerSlam.
I absolutely agree with everything you just said. I think the Wyatts need to win more than the former Shield brethren do, and I think they're going to win on Sunday. And I think there's going to be some sort of beatdown after, and somebody, whether it be Sting or The Rock, will get involved. Because I heard that Rowan might be ready to go.
So he could possibly...
So Rowan might interfere in the match to help him win, and then we have a 3-on-2 until either Rock or Sting come down to save the day.
Exactly. And, you know, I really feel they should do a heel turn because, you know, they've been doing this bestie storyline with these guys, and I'm like, okay, it's so obvious something's going to happen unless WWE just doesn't go anywhere with it, which
they won't.
For all we know, that's exactly what could happen.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think Wyatts are going to win, and there's going to be a save by somebody, whether it's The Rock or Sting.
Okay.
All right, and then we have the Divas match. We have 3-on-3-on-3, an elimination match.
Now, I heard a stipulation on Monday. I don't know if it was Lawler or Saxon who said it, but according to what they said, once one team member is pinned, the whole team is eliminated, which defeats the entire purpose of the match. Elimination match means one at a time.
I could see them doing it that way just so it goes quicker.
But these are the 9 best divas you got.
Yeah, I know.
Why make it slow? Why not let these girls showcase themselves?
It's a 4-hour show, too, but I just have this feeling they're going to rush it. It's going to be a very rushed match.
Well, regardless of rushed or not, the Bellas have been...
You remember the Survivor Series match, right? When they were literally getting pinned by like one super kick or one suplex. They were getting pinned. I have a bad feeling it's going to be like that.
If they do it that way. Whatever happens, I don't know why, but I have a feeling the Bellas are going to somehow pull this one out because, you know, they've been getting beat down so much. They've been so kind of like, oh, no, it's all about PCB. No, it's about Team Bad. No, it's about PCB. No, it's about Team Bad. The Bellas have been like, hey, champion, hello. So I think the Bellas are somehow going to find a way to make the victory happen.
Oh, that very well could be the case. I don't know. I have a feeling that Paige's team is going to win the sorority submission sisters.
They're called PCB now.
Well, I'm going to keep calling them the... what was the original name?
Submission sorority.
I'm going to keep calling them the submission sorority, just for the hell of it.
Google that, by the way.
I'm sure everybody has already.
Google that shit.
But I'm going with them to win. Just because I think you want to please the Brooklyn fans, and if the Bellas win, it's going to not be a pretty sight.
It'll be a pretty sight anyway.
All right. Now we have the main event.
Yes.
Brock Lesnar versus the 50-year-old Undertaker. Is he 50 now?
Almost.
He's right around there.
Right around there, yeah.
So yeah, this is the match too big for WrestleMania.
It's so big, it's on SummerSlam.
The most anticipated rematch in WWE history. I'm really curious to see what happens here because it feels like WWE is positioning Undertaker as a heel. I mean, based off of Raw, you had Paul Heyman purposely mention in his promo the low blow.
Yes.
Undertaker comes out once again for a second time, does a low blow.
Gets booed out of the building.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's in Brock's hometown, but you know.
Yeah, WWE had to know that Undertaker was going to get booed in Brock's hometown.
They
did the low blow anyway. I think he's being positioned as a heel. And as far as who wins this, I mean, I would like to see Lesnar win. As a viewer and as a fan watching it, from a storyline perspective, I want to see Brock Lesnar kick this guy's ass. Because Undertaker, he's come off to me in the storyline like a sore loser, a guy who is past his prime and is just trying to hang on to his legacy. And I'd like to see Brock Lesnar destroy him. Now, what I think is going to happen is Undertaker's going to win. Either he's going to break the rules and go full-fledged heel, or somebody interferes on his behalf, maybe Kane. But one way or another, I have this feeling Undertaker is going to win, and that will set up a third match at WrestleMania. Now, it's possible Brock will win, and Undertaker will say, hey, look, you beat me twice, I want one more shot, and since I have no streak to put on the line, I will literally put my career on the line at WrestleMania for one more chance. And then at that point, Undertaker... I don't know. I guess he would beat Lesnar for that third match. I don't know.
Or he would lose again and then he retired.
Lose 3 times in a row.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know. So this one I'm really torn about. What do you think?
Nobody has had the handle on Undertaker that Brock Lesnar has since Mankind. Almost 20 years ago. Nobody's beaten Undertaker soundly like Mankind did until Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman pointed it out, and people forget, even when he was the biker, he never beat Lesnar. Right. Not on Unforgiven, we were there in 2002. Not at Hell in a Cell the next month at No Mercy. And not since. Brock Lesnar's beat Undertaker at every step of the way, including the Royal Rumble 2003. He's beat him every step of the way.
They've made it very clear on television.
Very clear that Brock Lesnar has not lost the Undertaker, which makes me believe he is going to lose on Sunday.
Yeah.
So either a screwy finish with some sort of heelish tactics, or Undertaker gets the clean win and says, I'm still the man.
It's just, the thing that I'm just so confused about is, you know, Undertaker has beaten down Brock Lesnar both times, both confrontations that they've had.
Right.
You know, at Battleground and then on Raw. You know, one would think that Lesnar would get the win here. So I'm really torn about this
one. Well, but keep this in mind. Both times he beat him down, he caught a low blow first.
Yeah.
During that brawl they pulled apart on Raw, where everybody and their mother was involved, pulling those guys apart, there was no clear-cut, decisive winner of that brawl. It was just they both got taken away in handcuffs. So,
and what's the point of bringing back Undertaker just for him to lose again, unless they do that whole situation where he puts his career on the line for the third time at WrestleMania? But I'm gonna go with Undertaker, but I want Lesnar to win. I would like to just see Lesnar destroy him.
Well, just make sure you don't mention that in the house you're gonna be in on Sunday. Because my dad's very much Undertaker, and he can't wait to see Brock get his...
So what's your official pick?
My official prediction is Undertaker clean.
There you have it.
Got a feeling.
All right, so that's our predictions for
Both
SummerSlam
shows.
and NXT Takeover. NoDQ.com has got you covered with the latest news, rumors, and of course, live results coverage. Follow the Twitter account at NoDQ.com. Follow me at Aaron Rift. Follow Jeff at _Jeff Meacham. And that'll wrap things up. Thank you for being on today, Jeff.
Of course, sir. Yes, sir.
And we will see you guys next time.